Hello, everybody. I'm forecaster Megan Sweeney here with your forecast update for August 3rd, 2023. Let's jump right into it. But first, I'd like to remind everyone that we do have the Nickel Block app out and available on iOS and Android. So be sure to get it to keep up to date with all things weather and your own local forecast for everybody. So let's jump into this forecast. So we are going to be seeing a lot of heat keep up in the area as we see a lot of heat warnings for the Jackson, Mississippi area there. You can see that we are under some severe stress conditions with extreme risk and significant risk for most of our area, which mean heat indices are going to be super high, which means it's going to feel way hotter than it is going to actually be, which means it is very important for you to keep hydrated and stay indoors because this temperature is going to be very hot. And this excessive heat is going to continue throughout the rest of the month, it seems, or at least up to the middle of the month, this abnormally high temperatures for our area. So it's very crucial that you stay safe and you avoid keeping outside for extended periods of time in this super hot weather. So let's take a look at these temperatures. So if you look at our radar, we are going to see highs up in the upper hundreds in some area, in the low hundreds in some areas, but our lows are not going to be very cold, so we're not going to get much of a cool down. They're only going to be in the upper 70s. And this period is going to last almost throughout the week, and a lot of the area is going to see those super hot temperatures, especially in the more central regions in Hattiesburg area. You're going to see the hottest temperatures out of the area. When you're more along the coast, your temperatures are not going to fluctuate quite as high, but they will still be pretty high as well. And if we take a look at our precipitation anomaly, it's going to also stay pretty dry in the area. You do see parts of Mississippi there in the central area has a chance for some showers. I think the only showers that we'll be seeing is probably some afternoon thunderstorms throughout the area. There's not going to be that huge storm that's going to help bring and cool in those temperatures, unfortunately. So looking ahead some more, if we take a look between after the next week or so within the following week, we are going to see temperatures still pretty hot, not quite as high out of normal as we have been seeing. The west and southwest is definitely going to see more of those really extreme temperatures above normal, but that doesn't mean temperatures are cooler by any means. It just means not as hot as normal. So temperatures could still likely be in the upper 90s and even hundreds in some areas for your highs. Let's just hope those lows come down a little bit too. And as we look at precipitation, it is going to be pretty normal. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be dry. It's just normal for this time of year. So it's not going to be super moist, but it's not going to be super dry either. You're just going to get some probably thunder showers in the afternoons due to this really hot heat that's making the air super moist and super hot. So let's take a quick peek at our tropics. So we are seeing a few bits of development go on in the area. We are taking a look at Hurricane Dora, as it is currently a Cat 2 on the brink of being a Cat 3 as we speak, with 110-mile-per-hour winds. But that storm is likely to weaken over the weekend, and we're going to look at the cone in just a second, but most likely it's not going to cause any damage to anyone anywhere, mostly just the ocean floating out there being all crazy. There is also a development slightly behind it. It is a bit of disorganized thunder showers and showers right off the southern coast of Mexico. It could bring some high waves to that region and possible rain, but it's not looking like it's going to bring much likely to that area. It has a 30% chance of development within the next 2 days, but a 70% chance within the next 7 days, following a similar path to Dora, although it's looking more like it would go up along the Baja coast of Mexico, but that's something to definitely look at as we get closer in the week. And then in the Atlantic, we are just looking at a minor disturbance. It's a low pressure trough. It just comes up on the system due to its extreme low pressure, although it has a 0% chance of development with the next 2 days and within the next 7 days, and it's way out there in the ocean. It is not going to have any effects on pretty much anyone at all. So let's take a look at that cone for Dora. So we can see right now it's at hurricane status, but it is almost going to be a major hurricane status, which is when winds are above 110 miles per hour, which As of right now, it's right on the edge, so we'll have to see in this morning as we look for further developments, but most likely it is at major hurricane status. It is going to stay at that status throughout the day today and into tomorrow, but as the weekend goes on, it is going to weaken and eventually fizzle out in the ocean, not ever going to Hawaii, not ever hitting any islands in the way. So thankfully, that is a threat that is not going to be much of a threat except for to any fish out there in the ocean. Looking ahead at our global tropics hazard outlook, we are seeing some busyness in the Eastern Pacific. This Eastern Pacific has not quieted down all hurricane season, it seems. There's been a lot of disturbances, tropical storms, and of course a couple hurricanes so far. And it doesn't look like it's going to slow down within the next middle of the month. We do see that red patch there, which does show high risk of convective development. Although in the Atlantic, we are not seeing much for the next week, but as the middle of August rolls around, you can see that red over in the Atlantic between Africa and the Caribbean. And that is a big place for hurricane development to happen throughout the year. So this time of year is starting to become more prominent for Atlantic development as we head towards the end of August and early September, when hurricane development seems to be at its peak for the Atlantic. So that is definitely some things that we should be keeping out for as we get into August more. We just started, but hurricane season is in full force, and it is going to probably bring some hurricanes to our area probably around the middle of the month or later in the month, most likely. But that has been your forecast update for today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.